Welcome back to Music Kingdom. Due to very popular demand in our comments, might I add very consistently over the past several months, in this video we will be listening to, giving a music theory breakdown for, and blindly reviewing Burden by Opeth. Hang tight. Hey everybody, my name is Francis. If you are a fellow nerd for music such as myself and you appreciate not just reactions but in-depth reviews and analysis of songs, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support the work I put into these videos, you'll find Music Kingdom's Patreon and other affiliate links in the description below. Alright, now before we give the song a listen, first let's briefly talk Burden by Opeth. Burden is from Opeth's 9th studio album titled Watershed, released in 2008. Now to my knowledge, the band Opeth is a Swedish progressive metal band, which is very intriguing. And while the album Watershed is their 9th studio album as mentioned, it is the first studio album by the band to feature a new guitarist and a new drummer, replacing their longtime previous members. To my knowledge as well, it is the band's last studio album to contain death growls or any death metal elements to date. And regarding the song Burden specifically, Mikael Åkerfeldt was inspired to write the single while listening to the Scorpions song Living and Dying during a stay in Turkey. And for what it's worth, further context, the song Burden was the third and final single from the album Watershed, which at least in my opinion insinuates a certain degree of listenability. And on that note, something else worth mentioning is that I do realize the song I chose by Opeth is not one of their death metal heavy songs. So apologies to any diehard Opeth fans out there or death metal fans out there who have been waiting for me to review something with a lot of that sound. Will I eventually review death metal, whether by Opeth or any other band on this channel? Probably. Either way, I've heard a lot of great things about the band Opeth. As mentioned, they have been very highly requested in the comments. So death metal or not, regardless, I am very excited to see what all the hype is about. Now with that all out of the way, it's time we give the song a listen, and just a heads up, I will be pausing a few times to share my thoughts, but ultimately to avoid any copyright strikes. And as always, be sure to stick around after the song for a music theory breakdown from our expert, and then we're going to divide the song into specific categories, grading them each, averaging them out, and arriving at an overall score. I love a good piano intro. You can already detect levels of production in it that I don't usually hear in other metal songs.
Upon a time, carried a burden inside.
You're hooked immediately.
Sung a last goodbye. A broken rhyme right on the line. There's an ocean of sorrow in you.
Well written too. Really gripping. Thoughts so far, I really wasn't sure what to expect with this song and with this band. Yes, it's metal, but it's also progressive metal, but they're also known for death metal, but they're also from Sweden. You know, if you're reviewing Iron Maiden or Metallica, you might not be super familiar, such as myself, but at least you kind of know what you're about to get into. And this one, I honestly had no idea, and I am very, very pleasantly surprised. Ooh, vocal runs. I love how that's done. And all the varying instrumentation too. god. Oh. It's like you're having an eargasm. Perfect timing to throw the vocals back. What a journey that part of the song was. Oh, and the vocal lines again. An organ, personally, is one of my biggest weaknesses when used well in a song. Okay, so thoughts at this point in the song. Whenever you throw an organ in there, and then it's almost battling or sparring, if you will, a guitar solo, absolutely amazing. First of all, organ is so sparingly used in most music, at least I would say. So when you do hear it, it's like, whoa, yes please. But in a metal song, in that genre, I would assume you almost never hear it. While we are far away from the point of grading the song and arriving at a score, I have already subjectively been won just by that alone.
And the ocean of sorrow is yours.
It's so well put together, really. It stays so fresh. I feel like I always say that with a good song, but it's hard to do when a song is long. You're just on this journey. Does a great job of evoking a certain emotion throughout. And between that guitar solo and the organ solo, and it's so nice because I'm so used to hearing guitars shredding. Whereas this is more, dare I say, a Santana type of feel, you know, approach. Sometimes less is more. I could listen to this for hours, I'm not even kidding. It's so nice. And creative. It has a composition. A word that has come to mind a lot for me while listening to this song is tasteful. It's not overdone, they're not beating you over the head with anything. They're not trying to be hard for the sake of being hard. Quite the contrary, they're taking a very gentle, beautiful approach. On top of that, as mentioned earlier, yes, a very well done production, a very well done composition. I'm curious to hear what our expert will say. And then absolutely the vocals as well. I am such a sucker for especially vocal runs. I feel like those are so underappreciated in music and not as easy to do as they sound. Top to bottom, just super blown away overall, especially not knowing what to expect and getting into this with a blind listen. Must hit really hard live, especially, or I would imagine. Ooh. Acoustic as well. That is so nice. I review a lot of metal on this channel and you rarely get this type of feel. It's so tasteful. You get a sense of artistry. Ooh, very interesting how it's kind of distorted now. Very interesting outro. I'm curious if you guys know more about it or if it was just a creative decision. Alright, initial thoughts before we go to the expert's corner and before eventually grading the song. I don't want to be redundant, but overall, what an experience, and an unexpected experience. The outro was very interesting as well. I was not expecting the song to end that way. Personally, I'm not sure if I love it, but at the same time, you want to respect the creative decision by an artist, even if it is in an abstract form. But yes, overall, what a first impression to the band Opeth. When I saw a bunch of comments, as mentioned, recommending do Opeth, do Opeth, do Opeth, and all these different song recommendations, in comments of other metal reviews that I've done, honestly, I really was expecting some metal band. Not to say I was expecting them to be bad, but I was not expecting what I would almost call a ballad, what we just heard, just with a sense of badassery mixed with true beauty and artistry. And as always, I do have further specific thoughts regarding either the vocals, the production, the writing, the originality, so on and so forth. But before I can get into that and grade it, first let's go to the expert's corner for a music theory breakdown into see how he grades the song's composition.
Welcome to the Expert's Corner. This is Burden by Opeth. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And I am here to give it a composition score. Burden is in the time signature of 4/4 and it's in the key of D minor. I love a song that's in a minor key. I'll just say it right out of the gate. This song's composition is excellent. Blew me away. So good. It is a pretty long song, there's a lot to unpack, but in the spirit of keeping things brief, I just want to show you guys a couple of my favorite moments. The first is right at the very beginning, that opening piano. It goes from A minor to D minor, but there's this great dissonance. It goes... I've always loved those dark minor vibes, and that really just sets the mood for the rest of the song. Love it. The other progression I would like to show you is later on in the song. I think it's the progression that the guitar solo happens over. It goes D minor, B flat major, G minor, A major. It's a great chord progression and it has an almost cinematic feel to it. As great and unique as the chord progressions are, they aren't even the star of the show here. They're actually a little bit on the simple side. What really makes this song shine are: 1, the song is harmonically brilliant. 2, the song is melodically brilliant. 3, that amazing Hammond solo. 4, the dueling guitar solo. They're in such tight, perfect harmony. I want to know if it's 2 guitarists playing at the same time, if it's one guitarist somehow doing all of that himself, or if it's one guitarist who recorded one and then tracked the other one on top of it. I'm sure most of you guys know the answer to that. If you could let me know in the comments, that'd be great. There's also the melodic and compositional intricacy of that acoustic outro that just slowly gets detuned and sounding worse and worse. But I'm just picturing the dude playing this amazing outro and then one of the bandmates just on the side slowly twisting the tuning knobs on the guitar. I can't imagine it being done any other way. But overall, I think this song is brilliant compositionally, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Back to you, Francis.
A very special thank you to our expert for providing a music theory breakdown and giving the song's composition a 9 out of 10. I believe only the third 9 out of 10 he's ever given any song on this channel. Very high praise, but there are still 4 more categories for us to grade before we can arrive at an overall score, so let's get to it. Starting off with the category of production specifically, I'm inclined to give it a very strong 8.5 out of 10. As mentioned earlier, I think the introduction to the song was very tastefully done. The outro as well, albeit interesting and abstract, was very tastefully produced, throwing in the acoustic guitar as well, the laughs at the very end. These are all production decisions, and then you have how well mixed the vocals were. You've got the use of various harmonies kind of swaying back and forth that I thought was perfectly executed. Everything, all of the instrumentation and elements working so beautifully together is a testament to how well it was produced. And then you've got the usage of organ going back and forth with a guitar. That absolutely blew me away. Just an overall very solid production as reflected by a great score of an 8.5. Up next we have the category of lyrics, which I will be giving a very good 7.5. I personally think the lyrics are very well written. I also think they are the least bit generic. You can feel how authentic they are, at least emotionally. You can feel how creative they are, almost in a poetic sense. So for me, a 7.5 is very good, it's very solid, but just not necessarily amazing or truly great penmanship. There also weren't many lyrics either, especially for a song that's well over 7 minutes, which is perfectly fine, but with all that in mind, I just wouldn't go much higher with the score. Keeping it moving, the next category would be vocals, which I am inclined to give a great 8 out of 10. Honestly, just a great voice. It's nothing otherworldly, but it's definitely levels above the average singer in the music industry, at least in my opinion. You've got a very nice vibrato in there. You can sense he has a lot of power as well that he wasn't necessarily tapping into, but that doesn't mean you can't really feel it behind how he was delivering it. Every so often he would belt and then you're like, oh, there it is. But otherwise that really wasn't the vibe of the song, which is absolutely okay. He sung it in the perfect way, in my opinion, that it should have been sung. And let's not forget those ever so subtle yet impressive vocal runs. So yes, all around great voice. I would describe it absolutely as versatile, which is what I'm looking for, multi-dimensional in one song. Is it one of the best vocal deliveries I've ever heard in any song ever? No, that would get a 9, a 9.5, or the very rare 10 out of 10, but an 8 is great, and so was his delivery in the song. Alright, arriving at our final category of originality, I'm inclined to give it yet another great 8 out of 10. Initially, I was going to go a bit lower than an 8 simply because while the vocals are great, the production is solid, the writing is pretty good, that doesn't necessarily make it the most original song either. But our expert did give its composition a very rare 9 out of 10, and that absolutely counts for something. When you can compose something that is between 7 and 8 minutes long and keep the composition fresh, whether melodically or structurally, and then you factor in the very tasteful production, the solid lyrics, the solid vocals, you're gonna have a song that doesn't necessarily sound like a lot of other songs that came before it, and certainly doesn't sound like a whole lot of other songs that come after it. A song that sounds inspired, a song that sounds artistic, a song that is creative, which is what I'm looking for regarding a song's originality. So now if we add it all up, including the expert's composition score, and average it out, Burden by Opeth from their 9th studio album titled Watershed, released in 2008, gets a very solid 8.2 out of 10, which, as I just thoroughly explained why, makes sense. Top to bottom, in pretty much every way you can dissect and analyze a song, it is great. I would consider this an amazing first impression to the band Opeth. A first impression so impressive that in my own spare time, I would gladly explore more of their work. And of course, naturally on this channel, review more of their songs. So in addition to letting me know whether you think I'm right on the money, batshit crazy, or somewhere in between, drop other song recommendations by Opeth or whoever else in the comments down below for this channel to review next. As mentioned, if you are a fellow nerd for music such as myself, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you'd like to support the work I put into these videos, you'll find Music Kingdom's Patreon and other affiliate links in the description below. This has been another edition of Music Kingdom. Thank you so much for listening with me, and I look forward to jamming with you in the next one.